Hey everyone, welcome back. I am Lover's Lens.
And I'm Morik. Today we're shooting past the stratosphere into the cosmic chaos of In My Orbit, the chat sim Otome where you're stranded in space but you still get dating apps. We're thrilled to be joined by the team at Studio Reignbow, the creators behind this hilarious and heartfelt jam project.
Welcome to the show. Could you each introduce yourselves and share what role you played in bringing In My Orbit to life?
Hi, I'm Astro. I am the narrative designer, I'm the game director, and I'm the lead writer for In My Orbit.
And hi, my name is Lovmura, and I am one of the main artists and help with character design, and I'm also our main editor for In My Orbit, video editor.
How did you assemble the team?
I knew most of the team from school. We actually all went to art school together. 3 of us did. Lovemura and I met in art school, and then another one of our members, Van, also we met in art school. And our sound guy / coder and our editor are people we met through. Well, I met the sound guy through Vtubing, Zuchi, and our editor and other main writer, Edit. Is their name, which is not going to be confusing at all when I talk about Edit at all. Met them through Van. So together we put together a little team. I was talking to Lovemura about making a visual novel because I've wanted to for the longest time. And I was like, there's a jam. Do you want to?
There's a jam, yeah. And I was like, oh, finally, it's time. Oh, it's finally happening.
So you've been waiting on this.
Yeah. It's a project we've been wanting to work on for like a hot minute. Like we've always been like, we should make a visual novel, and we're like, yeah, let's make a visual novel. And then we don't have the time.
And then we don't, yeah.
Yeah.
But then we were like, okay, there's a game jam, but we could actually do it this time. For real this time.
For real this time. Yeah. So long time goal achieved.
So this is your first project then?
Yes.
Yes.
It's quite impressive, honestly, coming out of the gates with that.
We are nothing if not overachievers.
I think that might be something the art school puts in you.
It's like we can't just relax and have like something that we're like only half cocked about. We have to go full gun on everything.
You have to give it your best.
Exactly. It is what it is. Art school did beat that into us.
Oh, that sounds a bit stressful, but at least the results are visible.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's kick off with the premise of the game. You're abandoned in space on a brink of despair, and then instead of a rescue, you get a dating app. For listeners who haven't played the game yet, can you give us a quick overview of what In My Orbit is about?
Yes. So In My Orbit is you are stranded in space. You haven't had contact with home for being Earth for like 5 years. And then suddenly, as you are trying to contact aliens in deep space, you get a mysterious pop-up ad on your computer that is not dissimilar to those porn ads you get all the time. And the main character clicks on it, and voila, they are talking with aliens in deep space. The rest of the game just proceeds from there. It goes all over the place.
And you're also working for this shady company, if I'm getting that correct?
Correct.
I have a theory about it, but I'm going to bring it up later because it might be a bit of a spoiler.
I shall see.
I want to see if I'm correct about it, though.
So, what inspired you to mash up existential dread in deep space with lighthearted, sometimes a little bit spicy energy of a dating sim?
That's like... So when I first pitched the idea to everyone, it didn't have the spicy stuff in it. That kind of came along when I added Van and Edit to the program.
That is so true.
Yeah, like they were like, "What if it was like your vibrator died?" And I was like, okay. You know what? We can work with that. I'm chill with it. And like the what I think inspired it really truly is just like that's life right now for a lot of us, is that it's hard right now with the way that the world is currently. So the existential dread is like a bestie. It's like my best friend. So it's not hard to write about it. And I love space. I don't know if you can tell by the fact that my name is Astro.
Yes, I could tell.
Or if you
I'm
saw my branding
surprised.
anywhere. Like, I love space. So I love thinking about what it would be like to be stuck up there sometimes. That's one of my favorite subjects in horror. One of the projects that inspired In My Orbit is actually a podcast that has a very similar premise called Wolf 359. Wolf 359 is about a communications officer named Doug Eiffel who gets stranded in space by his evil company, but it goes completely different than what we're doing here, because for one, they're not dating the aliens. But yeah, I just really like those concepts. So I also wanted to give everybody in the team something that they could be interested in, because part of it is also that they are deities in space, like based on the Greco-Roman gods. So my friend Van, our other graphic artist, they love mythology, so I wanted to give them something that they could be invested in. Lovemura likes chat sims, so I wanted to make a
Yes.
game that's a chat sim for them.
I was gonna be in here as well when we were talking about, we love visual novels that focus on the group chemistry between the love interests as well.
Yes.
So that's what I think that lightheartedness really comes from. We wanted them to like have these conversations that felt real and fun, and like how a group chat would actually interact with each other.
Yes. Like Mystic Messenger is a big
Yes.
inspiration for that. Yeah, like we love the group chemistry in Mystic Messenger and in Busta Fellows.
Busta Fellows too, yeah, that's a really
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah, I've noticed that visual novels that have this chat dynamic, the characters seem to interact more with each other in those kinds of games. I'm not sure if it's just because, well, that's what chats are in real life, so it allows itself more to do that, or because it's written with that in mind when you're making it.
I think that they have to have the chats carry a lot of the visual novel, like in general. So they make it they bake a lot into that narrative through chat.
Definitely. The spiciness wasn't planned at the beginning, yet you have literal Zeus as one of the romance book, and I think we all know what his mythology looks like.
It's the idea in the first place. So like Van and I actually were working on a visual novel besides this, where all of the characters were also based on planet names. Like we had Mars, Saturn, and Mercury still, and instead of Mars, it was Saturn. Those characters are very, very different than the ones we have in My Orbit. So I was like trying to build off of the stuff that we had already like prepped in that other visual novel for this one. However, things kind of went sideways when somebody suggested we make it hornier than it is. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's lean into it.
Okay, then you made a perfect choice with Jupiter.
Yeah.
So, the hot singles in your orbit are absolutely unforgettable. Mercury is this mischievous hacker, Mars is this red flag warrior, and Jupiter the reigning champion of charisma. Could you talk about how you wrote them with such distinct personalities and what unites them all as potential partners for the MC?
Boy. And that's a really interesting question, because like the way that Mars came together was entirely through Edit and Van, entirely through them. Jupiter, I already kind of knew who I wanted how I wanted them to be before I started writing. Because Jupiter is referenced from a friend of mine, and so is who else? Mercury. Mercury is also referenced from someone I know. So both of their inspirations came super easy to me. And a lot of the stuff that got filled in later was because the whole team was working on it together. All three of us in the writing team.
Okay, so you developed the characters together, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. It was kind of like a mashing of like those characters that I was talking about from the other visual novel that didn't get made, and the newer inspirations of where we wanted to, the lightheartedness of where we wanted to take it, because that old visual novel was about being stuck in war and like magic racism and like all this other stuff. So we wanted to take those characters out of that setting and put them in a slightly lighthearted, like slightly more lighthearted setting, just a little bit.
I mean, for now it feels quite lighthearted, honestly. Maybe the darker parts come after.
Yeah, well, yeah, we got things planned. We have things planned.
So, circling back to the characters, let's dive into each one a little deeper. Mercury is your shut-in keyboard cutie with hacker energy. What was the spark behind his character?
I
I got a name.
Yeah, say the name. Say the name.
I'm gonna say Yusung.
Yeah.
Yusung from Mystic Messenger.
Yeah, he's like literally purple Yusung from Mystic Messenger. Like a lot of our inspiration comes from like other visual novels that we're so into. So we were like, how do we get them? How do we pay homage to characters that we love in this without like making them 1,000% like the same character? Yeah, Mercury is Yusun from Mystic Messenger if you've played it. He's also inspired by other people I know in real life, because I asked him for help with dialogue when I was stuck in a scene. I don't remember which scene that is specifically, but I remember asking him and being like, hey, can you just pretend you are you're an alien and you're talking to another alien and we're stuck in space together? And he was like,
Interest peaked.
Yeah, so as far as visually, we also kind of knew that we wanted Mercury to be like this really like cute, almost cat boy type like beat. We enjoy the aesthetics of hacking, and I think we all had like Pinterest boards dedicated to each character specifically, and then we would synthesize them down into something. So that's where Mercury ended up being, just cute little hacker boy.
Honestly, it fits him quite well. When I hear Messenger of the Gods, because well, that was his mythological origin, it kind of fits for some reason.
Yeah, that's why we wanted the app that you actually talk on to be called Hermes.
Because it's a messenger app. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, it took you
I'm
that
an idiot.
long,
It took
Morik?
me so long.
Yeah. I'm sorry for bullying you, but it's quite obvious. I don't know.
Yeah, that was like the original joke that we wanted the rest of this to be like surrounded by. So yeah,
Okay, I'm just gonna pretend I didn't say that.
it's okay. It made me feel really clever. I'm just gonna say.
So let's continue with Mars. So Mars is this brash, battle-ready fighter, equal parts dangerous and oddly endearing, and a bit edgy. How did you balance his chaotic vibe with making him someone the player actually wants to romance?
This was something that actually Van, Edit, and I have gone a lot around in circles in, because Van and Edit love Mars. Oh my god, they love Mars. And I know you're not supposed to have favorites in like your babies, but like if they had favorites, it would be Mars. And we spoke a lot about like how do we get this like edgy guy to also be endearing, and that's why we invented the cutie cumbers. We gave him an obsession with like a cute, like Hello Kitty like sort of like cast of characters, so he would have that softness or like show off that he has a side that is not just blood and death and war and gore, because we want you guys to fall in love with him. He's a little edge boy, but he's not all the time. Maybe he has a sensitive side. He likes cute things. Maybe he'll like you. Ooh, check him out. I don't know.
I don't know. It's always the toxic bad boys that I fall for. So I really liked his character. Honestly,
Yeah, he's
No, I'm
definitely
more
a
into the-
fave.
Yes, and I also really like that he constantly butts heads with Jupiter because in mythology, Zeus didn't really like his son Ares much. He always preferred Athena, and that was quite funny to me
Yeah,
as a god of war.
Yeah, we I don't know. I feel like our when we were talking about making these characters, I think it was we just wanted like somebody to have banter. Like I feel like that was almost immediate that we wanted our we wanted Mars to be the more combative one in the chat, while everybody else was like leaning into Mars's kind of a violence, like verbal violence, I guess. The this is also like a dynamic that was left over from that game that didn't get made, so it was really easy to just translate that over here.
yeah, he's definitely a bully, definitely. And we mentioned
Maybe a bit.
We mentioned Jupiter. So he's like 130,000 years of glorious reign, cosmic excess, and irresistible charm. How do you write someone who's over the top without making him too much?
Okay, so writing for Jupiter was maybe the easiest character I had times writing for. Jupiter in his over the top flirts is pretty not the same. I'm not saying it's the same, but we are very similar when it comes to flirting with people.
Oh, my favorite part of Jupiter's writing is his tech illiteracy.
Yeah.
Like, he acts like an old
Because
man.
he's old. He's an old man.
Yeah, like because okay, and also because I have a little beef when people are like, this character's such a DILF, and like it's like a regular guy who's muscular. I'm like, okay, this is me being like, actually, here's a DILF. Here's a real DILF. Enjoy that. Like, I think that was important to a few of us on the team, that we wanted Jupiter to be like an actual dad.
A moment of basically, fine, I'll do it myself, and you do it.
Yes. Got tired of people calling other people DILFs when they're not even dads. Like, come on, where are the kids?
Yeah,
Jupiter
where are
has
the
a billion.
by definition.
I just want to say that there's a thin line between dad and daddy. That's my only comment.
It's true, but you can be a dad and a daddy. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm gonna say.
It can be done.
It can be done, which is a line I hope we towed.
Before we move on to the next section, I now is the time I want to share my theory and see if I'm close. So, the evil corporation you work for is called Prometheus. My theory is that the Titan Prometheus is the one running it and is gonna try to use humans and their space capacity to wage war on the gods, so in favor of the Titans. Am I correct?
Ooh, that is a good theory now, isn't it? That's a great theory now, isn't it? I think you're wrong about who is actually pulling the strings here.
Okay.
But close.
Close is good enough for me.
Close. I'll say close. Yep.
So, on to game design and features. This demo was built in just 2 months for the Otome Jam, and which is wild, honestly. All of this in just 2 months. Wow. What were the biggest design goals you wanted to hit for this first release?
Definitely having a cohesive design throughout the whole game. The UI elements especially. Thank you, Van. Van worked so hard and so tirelessly.
Van did so good.
Van
did so hard.
Van cooked so hard. And I'm so sad that they couldn't be here to talk about it right now because I'm sure they would be gushing. But they definitely wanted to make sure that everything gelled together very cohesively. Like even the horny porn pop-up ad is something that I did very quickly because we needed to have the game out and we were like 2 weeks before the deadline. Van just very recently did a new updated version of it so that it fits a little bit more with our vision of things. So we definitely wanted to make sure that that was good. We wanted to make sure that our character designs were all clean and ready to go, at least frontally. Because we haven't really designed their sides or their backs because
yes,
we were like, we gotta go.
we just figured out the back of Jupiter's outfit.
Only just recently, like, oh man. Definitely wanted to have like good sound in the game. Shout out Zuchi Radio. He's our sound encoder. He definitely was instrumental in like putting the game together and making it run and making sure that everything was like in its place and proper and all sorts of things like that. So, yeah, Zuchi was not on top of it. That was mostly me, but like Zuchi was definitely instrumental in like making sure everything gelled together. Like when we had a character design for Mars, before we went through a few iterations before we came up with Mars's final design, and we ended up having spurs on the bottom of his shoes, so that ended up influencing the Mars BGM, which isn't in the game right now, but it will be in a future
Now I got
release.
curious.
Yeah. Yeah. So like just we all really we honestly we just wanted to get the damn thing out. We were like, we need to hit this word count. We need to get out of here. Let's go.
The last 2 weeks were like kind of chaotic. We had I think me and Edit were coming back from trips, so it was like, okay, as soon as I get back on this date, I can go, I can run.
And I was like having long sleepless nights. Like it was crazy at the end.
Wow. I kind of get it because I've never been to one of these big game jams that last whole months. I've only ever been to the ones that you have like 48 hours to get something done. And I get the same stress for that. Like every moment you're just waiting for someone else to finish something so you can start work on your own thing is like the most stressful. Come on. You have nails on your chair and you're sitting at them.
Yeah, it's like the world's most stressful relay. It's like,
yes.
Here's the baton, go.
It's always an adrenaline rush, isn't it?
Always.
And I just wanted to say the end result is amazing. The UIs fit perfectly with the rest of the aesthetic of the game, especially the chat boxes, the chat itself, and the little planets that you see at the corner of the when a character is talking is a perfect little touch.
Yeah, when we were Van went through a few iterations of the chat box too. Before we just settled on that, one. Again, Van's amazing. I can't praise them enough.
So, You already mentioned that you got inspired by Mystic Messenger for the chat sim style of the game, but what made it the right fit for exactly this story, this space story?
No, that it was the right fit. I feel like we came up with the idea that we walked into this being like, I want this to be a chat sim. So everything else about the story revolved, like we changed things about stories and like crafted it in such a way that it would be for a chat sim. Even now as we're drafting other stuff, we're like thinking about how do we get them in the chat room though? Like how do we keep this in the chat room? How do we make this narratively satisfying and also make sure that we don't forget the core part of the game, which is the chat sim? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Like the idea came first of making it a chat sim, and then the narrative came after. Which I don't know if I would do again, but yeah.
I gotta ask now, considering that the way the game ends, I'm not going to say anything because it's going to be a bit of a spoiler for the demo. But how do you plan? Is the chat sim going to continue the way it is in the future? Because you kind of, how do I say it without it being a spoiler?
We kind of got them out of their element.
Yeah, yeah.
So the chat sim's coming back. We have plans. I don't know if people it'll be relatable for the last I want to say from 2020 to 2023 if we all remember quarantine.
Oh yeah.
yeah. That's all I'll say without spoiling too much is that if we remember quarantine, that might come back.
Can we
Good to
forget
know.
quarantine, actually?
Yeah, can we
Nowadays-
forget quarantine?
Life goes before COVID and after COVID.
No, truly,
how it
truly,
is right now.
Uli.
It feels
Sometimes I wish we
different.
were all stuck inside.
Man, home office. Home office is the best benefit we got out of that.
Yeah,
honestly.
truly. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to steal the PC from the office. Anyway, so on to art and visuals. The art in my orbit is so distinctive. It's bright, playful, and just a little chaotic. It really fits the tone of the chatting with deities in space. Could you talk about your overall artistic direction and how you developed the look of the game?
Yeah, there you go. Go.
Hi. So what's fun about the art process that we did for this game jam in particular, I don't know if we would do it again, but it was a lot of literally like going back and forth and everyone works on the same thing. Like the way we did the character sprites was literally like we would have Astro sketch something and then I would like polish it up and then Van would finish. So it ended up kind of like amalgamating into its own distinct style from there. And
Kind
then
of like a game of telephone.
yeah, yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I do think that we already had like some aesthetics in mind just from like when we had like the Pinterest boards, we had like kind of an idea of like what we wanted to keep. Like I know we probably wanted it to be bright, and because you know we were trying to make it funny and cute.
Yeah. I think we went to like, we were like, oh, we want this aesthetic to be retro feeling. So like we went 2000s with it. Like, yeah, because we just like the 2000s like vibe. I love that cheese. And it's also really good for like a spacey sort of environment. Like all that chrome and weird pants and like open like clothes and all sorts of things like that. Yeah.
I do really
So
like
the
that.
2000s is retro now? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Is this retro now? Are we old? What happened?
We're old.
We're old now. Yeah, I'm
we're
afraid
old.
we're old now.
you know, when you said the retro space aesthetic, I was imagining those old space art you see with the glass bow helmets and the
Yeah, like the 60s, 70s era of like futurism. Yeah, we also started the game with that aesthetic in mind, and then we ended up swinging towards 2000s because of my insistence.
Because it's cool.
Because it's cool.
It is cool, but it turns out it's retro now. I don't know. I
that got out
will
of
be
nowhere.
quite depressed after this podcast thinking about it.
We're all
I'm not ready to be retro, okay?
It's also because like that era of like futurism is also very colorful, like compared to the other ones. Like where I feel like the 60s and 70s and even the 80s kind of like futurism is like very not, I don't want to say brown, but it's like very brown and chrome, and like the colors are like usually like the aesthetics is like usually starbursts and things like that. Just cute, but like I also kind of wanted to hit the little nostalgia factor a little bit with like colorful see-through technology, like, you know, like your old Game Boy or like
Game Boys and the old game controllers and those Apple computers. Oh my god.
yeah, like that sort of vibe, which I think is like present in like Mercury. Like that's really represented in Mercury, where like you have the see-through like circuit board type like look.
Yeah, definitely. Also, when I took a look at his room while talking to him in the background, a lot of tech and what I presume was a washing machine as well.
He's got a washing machine and a dryer and all.
That's a dryer.
Yeah, there's two machines in there that look very similar. One of them's a washer, one of them's a dryer. He's got a lot of servers and such. He has pretty much anything he needs down there to survive
And never leave.
Meat. Yeah.
So
Yep.
the pastel retro manga style. Oh, my mouth when I say retro. Come on, it feels super nice. Are there any real world inspirations or references or even memes that influence how you approach the designs?
I could say for UI, I would say DMMD.
Yeah.
I know, because DMMD, Dramatical Murder, we really like their UI design specifically. I know that is like one of the references for sure that we were like pointing to.
Mm-hmm. 1,000%.
Because it also has the kind of like futurism type look.
Yeah, that like that's also kind of nostalgic. That I'm super into. I will say that as the person who was sketching stuff in general, that like my style when I'm drawing kind of leads more 90s anime like manga style. So I don't know if that got picked up in the rest of us like designing things, but that is definitely my leaning.
I do kind of see it now that you mention it. It's especially noticeable on Jupiter's design, I think.
Yeah. I when I was designing Jupiter, I was the first I think iteration of Jupiter ever was from me, because we would all draw the characters on our own, and then we would meet and then be like, I like this part of your design, I like that part of your design. My first iteration of Jupiter looked like a character from Tenchi Muyo, and like a lot of the stuff that I had originally designed for him, like he had like furry ears and such in his first iteration, so that got scrapped, which, you know, fair. It gives a different vibe, and I totally get it. So we were, yeah.
I am trying to imagine it right now, honestly. I would love if you send me an early concept of Jupiter with ears. I would love this.
Yeah.
If you manage to find it, I would love. I just want to see it.
Yeah, if I can find the early designs, I'll definitely send them along.
Thank you. I just want to see Jupiter with ears.
And let's talk. Speaking of the characters, let's talk actually about the sprites. Each deity feels like their own personalities baked right into their design. Mercury has all these techy accessories. Mars is so sharp, and Jupiter is with his larger-than-life charisma just as part of his very outfit. How did you make sure the looks match their personalities?
For Jupiter specifically, I have like in my notes that he likes being naked. So we wanted as little clothing as possible for him. Like So that's where we ended up leaning with Jupiter. I know for Mars, we were thinking supervillain. I think that was the vibe we had initially wanted for him. And I think for Mercury had like a lot of like beloved design choices from all of us. Like we were all like, yeah, he kind of wants. He's a skater boy.
He's a skater boy. Yeah, we wanted a skater boy. We wanted him to be fast.
Yeah. Like
so
Oh,
he had like wings at first.
Yeah, he did have wings at first.
On his back or on his legs? Because I know some depictions of him have wings on winged sandals, I think.
We had him in winged sandals, but also we had wings on his head. Like he
had.
Yeah. You know, like he has like these headphones on.
Yeah.
That have like like holographic wings coming off the side of them. What was
that's clever.
Yeah. So instead we had wings being where his ears were originally in one of the earlier iterations of him.
And then he became Hacker Man, so like everything became more tech and like the like holographic and techwear type, not techwear, but
yeah,
type aesthetics with his like giant rollerblade type whatever.
Yeah. There was like also we keep mentioning the Pinterest board, but like our Pinterest board had like vibes that we were trying to nail down as we were working through it. So like definitely when we were picking stuff for Mars, one of the images that we were all kind of gravitating towards was like this one fashion photo where this person had like really sharp shoulders and a tattoo coming up their chin and such, which ended up turning into Mars's piercings. But like we definitely had a whole bunch of different like vibes in mind for that. And then as far as the sprites, oh boy, that was probably one of the longer processes of the demo in general. Because like Lovmura had mentioned, we shared the workload with that. So I would sketch, Lovmura would line and do the flats and then Van would come through with the finish. So when I was sketching them, I was trying to make sure that I nailed the characters, like how would they sit in a situation if they were talking to you. Like that's why Jupiter has his arms up and he's like leaned back and like talking to you all chill, because he talks to bitches online all the time. What do you mean? Mercury is like, you know, relaxed in his little gamer chair because he enjoys talking to people, and Mars is closed off, so he's got his arms in front of his chest while he's talking to you. So yeah, I was trying to make sure that I had the personality of the characters in mind when I was sketching those sprites to give to Lovemura and the rest.
And here I thought Jupiter had his arms up so you can see his abs.
Yeah, so you can see his rocking dad bod.
Yes.
Honestly, this is such a unique approach to creating sprites. This is the first time I hear that someone's actually working together on the same sprite, and I believe that this is a very hard process because you have to communicate all the time and to discuss stuff and to figure out the problems together. And I wanted to ask, were there any characters that proved more challenging to design, either because of their style or personality, or
Mars.
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 It was such an immediate answer. Oh my god.
Mars gave us such problems because, like, I feel like Lovemura had nailed Mercury really quickly. Jupiter was a little rougher, but it wasn't as bad as Mars. We kept going back and forth.
I feel like Mars is where we like diverged the most design-wise between the three artists.
Yeah, like Mars we kept coming back to. It was an interesting process. And I remember Mars is also, in my humble opinion, the most difficult one of them to draw.
True, his outfit. I think his outfit has the most like little details on it, and that's what makes it worse.
Yeah, now that I look at it, definitely. Yep, definitely.
He has like all
So-
these chains.
How did it felt in the end when it came together and you knew that this is the sprite you wanted to have in the game? Was it like an aha moment, you know?
I don't know. I'm definitely once because like I said, we would synthesize all of our designs together. So Mars, we kept coming back to redesign, but Van kept beating that drum until Mars came out, and like they had put spurs on his boots, and I was like,
Boots with the spurs.
yeah, the boots
We
with
were like,
the spurs.
okay, yeah, we
Yeah,
were like,
this is
okay,
it.
I understand. Yeah, I
This is
understand.
it. This is it. Yeah, like I think also we had like problems with Mars because at first he was something else entirely, and then I was like, I think somewhere in the design process I was like, I kind of want to bring some like Asian Chinese elements into his design. And then Van then took that and was like, okay, but also cowboy, and we were like, but also cowboy, like.
Okay. That's such an interesting mashup of energies. I love it.
Honestly, East West cowboy samurai is pretty fun aesthetic, I gotta say.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I see them do crossovers constantly. It must be. I mean, makes sense now that I think about it.
Yeah.
But onto the community and feedback, the responses have been explosive, and Ichio comments are full of love. The people are begging for an Atlas route. How has the community reaction shaped your ideas for the future updates?
So when we first we came together to work on the game jam, and we were like, if the response to this goes well, we will consider making a full game. The response was so kind and so enthusiastic that we were like, when we had our little break from the game jam and we had our first meeting back, we were like, are we making a full game? And it was like, oh yeah, totally. The Atlas thing was also interesting because we put him out there as like a character that was really just a vehicle for story, and he ended up being, and also a reference to dramatical murder. To everyone who correctly clocked that Atlas looked like Alba, congratulations, you're correct. We didn't think that he would be so immediately beloved, but
Yeah.
You
now
gave him that sprite and you thought he wouldn't.
We were not ready.
We
were not
were.
ready. We drew him so fast. We were
Yeah,
just like,
like-
oh, we need a character. We need a character.
and voila, he was born. He wasn't planned. Like, that was a baby we weren't ready to have. And like, now we have him. And yes, I can say that we are working on an Atlas route now because of the way the community has been responding to him.
Yeah.
That's nice
So-
to hear.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that. Like, I've been thinking about an Atlas route when I played the demo as well. Like, is this character romanceable? Can I just, I don't know, do something?
They made a sprite for him. He must be.
yeah.
Technically, we also made one for Reeves, and he's not very romanceable, so like, I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. But you just see his like evil silhouettes. It's completely different. One exudes big CEO energy. The other exudes, yeah, I'm gonna date this guy energy.
Fair.
So, moving on, we have to talk about Buzz. The toy funeral scene has already become iconic. Were you expecting fans to like that moment so much?
No, not even a little bit. Like, Edit wrote maybe the last 20 minutes of the demo, all the way from when you meet Atlas to the end of the demo. That was all Edit's doing, and before that was me. I came in with like more stuff to add or like little corrections and stuff, but that was mostly edit on their own, and they did amazing. Edit's such a crazy good writer. But the eulogy scene specifically in the scripts, I remember edit going like eulogy here, so I was like, I'm just gonna fill this out. I filled it out, and I'm shocked that people were like, oh my god, Mars is so he's so eloquent, he's amazing, I can't believe he would say that. I'm like, yeah, because I was not channeling Mars, I was just trying to be funny. Yeah, I a lot of the stuff that fans have been reacting to, I didn't expect at all. The response has been incredible. Honestly, I'm shocked that this is even happening in the first place. when I don't know. This is probably just a me thing. This is just an Astro thing. But whenever I put art out into the universe, I kind of don't expect like a response to it. Like, I make stuff just to make stuff. So having this big of a response, having people say that they laughed, they enjoy these characters, is like crazy to me. It's bonkers. I'm so proud of everybody on the team in Studio Reignbow and us for like making this game. It's crazy. We made this.
There's like a whole game. Like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And
There's a
here
whole
we
game.
are.
There was a promo video.
Here we are in the podcast talking about your game.
I
It's
know.
crazy. Like, you did a great game, honestly. Like, you did a great demo. I am excited to see how things will develop for your studio. It's very promising. You have a unique style of writing and unique artistic style as well. So it's not a surprise if people like it.
I'm very glad y'all do. I'm so happy.
Also, you wouldn't be the first people to come onto the podcast and say something on the lines of, "Oh, I didn't expect people to resonate with it so much." Something about artists and them underestimating their own work, I think.
is something that I'm working on, I promise.
Okay, so you knew this part was coming. Can you give us any hints about what's coming next for In My Orbit? Future characters, potential endings? We already discussed Atlas and that he's getting what fans demand, so...
Yeah, you guys are getting an Atlas route, but we're also introducing the rest of the planets. We are getting Pluto, Venus, Saturn, and Neptune are going to be in the game. I don't know if they're going to be dateable. I don't know if I have that much writing in me. But definitely we're considering doing a Kickstarter. So if those character designs end up being something that people are into when we are doing a second release of the demo with the rest of the characters in it to show that they're going to be in the game. And depending on the response to that demo, we might end up having stretch goals to add those characters as part of dateable routes. We have a lot planned in terms of story, and like where it's going to go. So I hope people who like it stick around because we have a lot planned.
That's exciting. Though I also understand the danger of scope creep when you go beyond any reasonable, possibility of what you can actually deliver.
Exactly.
So I understand not making all of the planets dateable. I'm sure most people will be perfectly happy with the 3 we have now plus Atlas.
Yes. Everybody should be satisfied with those 4. I'm like thinking about having to add another route and being like, I think I'll actually cry if I have to add another boy into this equation. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
So one could say that you have a whole galaxy planned.
No, it's a solar system.
Oh,
A whole solar
Moreg, I'm
system.
sorry. Come on. I'm feeling very, very punny today. I'm sorry. So getting back on the script, you're considering a Kickstarter, but are you planning a full release on Steam or expansions with even more cosmic chaos?
1,000%. Yes, the update of the demo will be released on Steam alongside with the Kickstarter. That's coming in the future. We have a tentative date, but I hesitate to mention it here. Just in case we need to change that, because there's a lot of things going on in our personal lives that may change things around. Yeah. But yeah, definitely a Steam release. We're gonna have a full release of the game. And yeah, definitely 1,000%. Please stick around.
We will.
We will.
Definitely.
I still need to confirm if how close my theory is to the truth.
Yeah. So before we go, we have a tradition in this podcast. Do you have any hidden romance routes, shocking twists, or literally everything you want to share and maybe say something that you're not supposed to say?
What do I want to tease here? Definitely keep an eye out for Prometheus's evil corporation and its connection to Atlas. Atlas may play a bigger role in the story than you may realize.
I know also from Mythology that Atlas is also a Titan. Yeah,
1,000 theories coming.
My theory,
right now.
I'm refining it. I think I'm refining it.
Yeah. Yeah. Please look forward to when that little nugget drops in the story later.
Okay, so to wrap up, what do you hope players take away from In My Orbit beyond the comedy and the thirst traps?
I hope that you can enjoy In My Orbit and those characters as crazy as this sounds, like friends. You're not alone in outer space. You have people who are in a group chat who care about you. Not just in My Orbit, but also in real life. Socialize, don't worry about not being able to find love either. Because Buzz is there for you.
There's always a fast delivery of a toy. Everywhere.
Everywhere. Lovemura, you want to say anything?
Keep an eye on our socials, please. Please. We have things planned.
And finally, is there anything you'd like to say directly to your fans?
I love you.
Thank you for the
Super cute.
I'm on my hands and knees. I'm thanking you.
No, literally, that's what it feels like right now. Like, oh my god, hi.
Oh my god, hi. You should check out Lovemura on twitch.tv.
Oh my god, hi.
Wait, you stream?
Wow,
Yes,
you have a streaming career?
We didn't mention this. 3 of us are streamers. 3 of 5 of us are streamers.
Yeah, 3 of us are VTubers.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay, so you're used to just being in front of camera.
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of.
Amazing. That explains a lot. So we can go to the wrap-up, I think, and we can continue yapping afterwards.
Yeah.
So, In My Orbit is available in itch.io. If you want to laugh soon and maybe cry over a toy, go check it out.
Huge thanks to Studio Reignbow for joining us today. And if you enjoyed the demo, leave a review, share it with friends, keep an eye on their social media, and join their Discord to stay updated. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, may your orbit always lead you to the hottest singles in the galaxy.